And welcome. I'm the sniper. He's the pundit. And this is the Sniper and the Pundit presents Top Rope Talk, all pro wrestling, all the time. I'm Denzel Snipes. This is my colleague Jacob Christner, and we have a loaded show for you from the happy world of professional wrestling. Saw some surprises go down. That's actually an shout out to Jerome King. Actually, he just bought his ticket to WrestleMania tonight too. So
How in the world
awesome.
what did he give away his house?
Oh man, it wasn't really that much, you know. I'm not gonna put his business on the street, but let's just say it's not exactly cheap.
Yeah,
but probably cheap compared to some other tickets that I've seen because good seats at WrestleMania is starting to jump into Super Bowl numbers.
Yes, I know. That's my thing. That's why when I've been to WrestleMania 27, we got decent seats, but it's like. Main thing about it is next time I go to WrestleMania, I want a box. I just want a free box and be able to. I ain't gonna pay with those. I ain't paying those crowd numbers. Those things are ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get started, just want to let everybody know that you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, DBTV, and Strim TV. Strim TV and DBTV is where you can catch all the live as well as the replays. And of course, also you can go on YouTube and check out our Sideline Sports channel. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's more than just this. We've also got the Sideline Sports Show. We've also got the Gauntlet. We've also got First and 56. Shout out to those guys out there. And also we have Hawk Talk. Hawk Talk's off to a hot start. That's hosted by Dave DeRochers, one of our very own the Sideline Sports. But we got a lot. And, just hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll bring you the latest and greatest week by week. So, in getting started, we're going to go ahead and start off with our SmackDown recap from the 15th of September. And, I mean, what else? What else can you say? He came back. He came back home. The Rock made his epic return in a segment actually with Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. LA Knight continues his hot streak. He beats The Miz. The New Look Street Profits beat the LWO. But I wanted to run something by you real quick because The Rock has not only come back, but he actually has stated that he is open for WrestleMania. So with him now being open for WrestleMania, does this change the suspected landscape for how things are going to shape out regarding the bloodline and so forth?
Before I go into that, let me say this part. We can all fault Vince for whatever he had. Vince is always on the dot with surprises.
That's true.
And this took too long. Here's Pat McAfee. About 4 or 5 seconds. If you snap, the place went nuts. But it went too long. Vince was always
boom.
Exactly. Remember Hogan's return over at WrestleMania 21 with the Daivari and all of them. He gives them the finisher, is doing all that kind of stuff, playing all that. Boom, boom. The place went insane.
Nuts, yeah.
That's what. See, Vince can be insane, everything like that, but he was on the dot. As a TV producer, no one better.
That's true.
As far as the timing, no one better. But as far as Rock, there's one thing that I want to see right now, and this is the thing. I can tell you this right now. Do WrestleMania 10 only in 2 nights. Here's the thing. This is what my thought process is. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. I'm not gonna say freaking. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. On that kind of thing, and then the Rock versus Roman Reigns. The winners of that make it Cody and Roman Reigns the next night. Tournament. Make it a tournament for the title.
Wait, so from what you're saying. Are you saying Rock Roman Reigns, the belt should not be on the line or should be on the line?
Should be on the line, but in a tournament. It's the universal everything. Seth Rollins Everything. Seth Rollins, Cody, one match. Rock, Roman Reigns, the other. The winners go to tomorrow night.
So you're suggesting a tournament in which the champion defends it the whole way?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they make it, and then it would go the whole. And that's the thing. Every belt on. You guys remember, Seth's is up. Everything in.
Well, you know what? I don't know if the world's kind of ready for that again because you already went through it. If you got a world heavyweight champion and a WWE champion, keep them separate. Don't unify the belts again.
Okay, you could get that, but I'm like, either way, you could have. You don't have to unify it, but you could have two titles, whatever. Seth's not going to win it anyway. In my head, Seth's not winning it anyway. So it's like have Seth, Cody, Rock, and Roman, and then the winners go to tomorrow night. That's for the big one.
Okay.
I just because I loved WrestleMania 10 and how they did. Only they had 3 wrestlers instead of 4.
Right. I was thinking about this earlier today because I was like, okay, because The Rock did say for the record that him versus Roman Reigns was actually set for WrestleMania 39, but talks fell through. He was available and everything. But I was thinking this much, because if you're going to have The Rock at WrestleMania, literally and I'll go as far as saying this, literally the only match that makes sense is him versus Reigns. If you can't pull it off, don't have him there.
Well, if he says
don't have him there.
If he has talks falling through, this is me. I don't know the whole situation. We don't know it. But if I'm facing family and I'm trying to help them, I'm not going to go with these talks thing. This is family.
Yeah.
This is family. It's like I don't have to have this big pile of anything. I don't have to have all. No, it's family. I'm here to help.
Right. No. Agreed. And The Rock should. You would think as long as he had, been with the company and built up such a career and legendary status that he should be able to have that kind of pull. I would say this much. I would say you have them meet in the main event at the end of night 2. That has to headline. Rock versus Reigns must headline everything.
Oh,
you have them two go at it. Have Rock beat Roman and officially retire as the champion. Because let's face it, Rock has one match left in him. Just one.
Yeah.
Have him retire the champion. Then you hold a tournament for the vacant WWE title. Then you have Cody win it. That's how you get it done. That way, after all this time, the fans get 2 good endings.
Right.
Cody can finish his story, and The Rock takes the belt off of Reigns. And Cody's not the one to beat Reigns. It's just like I said, it must be someone from his family.
Yeah.
From Roman Reigns' family.
And I'm like, I'm still to this day, I'm not happy with how this is why I get mad at creative. And it's like there's no way. I mean, when creative gets itself involved, it messes itself up. It was brilliant to have the tribal war with absolutely no one getting in the way. And then you could have Kevin. Then you could have like I said, you could have it. But then you could have them do the interference like they did, then walk off. Who is it? Then the Usos could team up for a little while. Then it comes back again. Then you find out. Yeah. Then you have Roman pissed. Roman's pissed because someone interfered. His own family interfered. He's not supposed to. That could turn Roman face.
That's what should have happened this past tribal. Because remember, what was one of the rules? No family interference, and they let Solo Sikoa blatantly get involved in the match.
Well, and that was the thing. But even with Jimmy, I think Jimmy was one turned. But I'm saying even with the one that I got to remember they're twins. But I think it was Jimmy that turned. Even with that, you could have just had him interfere, walk. You don't know who it is. Yeah. And don't have him walk through the crowd because the crowd knows. Crowd's gonna just show the whole thing. No, you have him just walk to the back. You don't know. I mean, could have the mask, could have everything. Then you have months. I mean, hell, you could have had him carted off. You know what I'm saying? You could have had him stretchered off.
Right.
Like someone attacking, then they do that. You would have never seen it coming. You wouldn't have seen it coming. But you could have had that, and it's like, and that turns Roman face because he's mad he interfered.
Yep, that is true.
He's mad he interfered. It's like, this is family thing. Family was not supposed to interfere. There's your face turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's crazy because even I'm under the belief that after Roman drops the belt at WrestleMania next year, he should go away for a while. Maybe come back at SummerSlam as a face.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. He's been 3 years as a heel. It's time. And here's the thing: the only thing I'm saying with faces, though, is don't even touch the way he is. Be a heel the same exact way.
Yeah.
Like 86 Piper before they did the stupid 90s crap.
Yeah.
Before that thing. Do not touch it.
Some people just, they remain the same. They just may not burn the crowd as much, or they, but as far as if they use underhand tactics, they still do it. Like I put it to you like this. From the time he set foot in WWE, Eddie Guerrero never changed.
Oh, I know.
He never did. And he came in as a heel, then went face because the lie, cheating, stealing, deal just kind of got over on the fans. It made it funny, yeah.
Yeah. No, Bach, that's the thing. Bockwinkel also. Bockwinkel, he went face at the end of his career. He went face end of his career, and all he did was change a few words. He was still arrogant.
Yeah.
He was still arrogant. He just changed a few words. And the thing, he didn't change anything up. I mean, the only thing is he didn't cheat much. He didn't do anything. He maybe show a little bit. But this is why I don't like creative, is because I really don't think they understand the idea of a baby face.
True.
It's like, this isn't Hallmark Channel. This isn't the Hallmark Channel where you have one of those shows that's like a Little House on the Prairie and all that kind of stuff. This isn't that.
No.
It's like, this is a wrestling show, and fans like someone with a little bit of edge.
Yes, of course. It's been that way since the mid-90s.
Yes. I mean, and 80s. I mean, they love Hulk. I mean, part of the reason they loved Hulk was he was scratched and clawed. It's if he would have smiled, done the thing, it wouldn't have lasted near as long. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it wouldn't have. They finally were tired of him, but like 9 years later.
Yeah.
They tired him 9 years later, but they would have tired him 3-4 years later if he kept all the rules.
If he kept all the rules, yeah, it's true. Yeah, and we discussed this last show. It's the very reason why John Cena went stale. He wouldn't, like he was wrestling fans are so screwed up. He was so honest that fans started hating him.
Yeah.
Like he just would not break the rules. They didn't trust him. Grab a chair, but that was it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Fans, this is the thing. Fans are human beings. They don't trust it. They don't trust someone being good. Look how much Tebow gets murdered.
Yeah.
Tebow gets murdered by fans, other than like grandmas and kids or whatever. And I love the guy, but he gets murdered, and he's real. Mm-hmm. They don't trust it. No, they don't trust it. People don't trust purely good.
They don't. No. And I mean, it's sad to think, but it's true. I mean, even with, like in the case with John Cena, and here's where they really screwed up, is they didn't want to turn him face because he was like, at the time he was close to setting a record for like the most Make-A-Wishes, and they didn't want a bad like look on the kids or anything like that. But you still could have given him an edge.
Yeah.
You still could have given him an edge.
No, and that's the absolute reason. And that is it. See, this isn't Bruno Sammartino anymore, where you're a totally good guy and they love you and everything. This isn't that world. People don't trust the same.
No.
People don't trust the same. They haven't since the 80s. They haven't since anything. They don't trust the same. It's like Bruno Sammartino didn't scratch anybody's eyes a day in his life. You know what I'm saying? Right. He didn't do anything cheating. That's the whole deal. That's the whole deal. He didn't do anything underhanded. Then you get to then Bob Backlund didn't do anything underhanded. Then you get to Hogan, nothing but underhanded in the ring. But he had so much charisma, you don't tell.
Right. You can't tell. You just want to see him. Fans fall in love with the guy. It's like, man, you could you can bring out a baseball bat like every match, and no one's gonna turn on you. You know,
Yeah.
like you're on my Wheaties box.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
look. I mean, look. They loved him so much. He was the one at fault in the Orndorff deal. He was the one at fault, and they loved Hogan anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Hogan was the one at fault, and they gave it, and they hated Orndorff.
They hated him for it exactly. But before I go on to my next topic, I just want to get your thoughts on LA Knight beating the Miz and continuing his hot streak. Is he a dark horse Royal Rumble winner in 2024?
Yeah, but you got to realize. I mean, at the same time, though, this is one of the rare Rumbles. This almost goes back to '92 as far as the rare Rumbles where you have 10 possible winners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have your Nikolai Volkov's versions of it. You know what I mean? You've got that. There's nothing to that. You've got that. Okay, who cares? But you got about 10 possible winners. You really do. You can have your shocks. You can have your everything. And the ones that come back. I mean, you'll have your comebacks, of course.
Of course.
It's like, yeah, absolutely. But who? But again, let's see. There's also Gunther.
Oh, I have him winning it as of right now.
Gunther is.
I have him winning it.
And Gunther's, like he said last week, Gunther's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and he could be the greatest. If he wins without Vince around to do the thing, he's gonna be an unstoppable force, and he's a wrestler.
He's going to be more dangerous with the WWE or the World Heavyweight title than he ever was with the Intercontinental title.
Well, you watch the minute Vince dies, and that's going to happen someday. You watch the minute Vince dies, the word wrestling comes back.
Yep.
And more than a gimmick. He's going to be more than a gimmick. You will no longer see he's the greatest sports entertainer of all time, like Michael Cole does. No, you're going to see wrestler.
Yep.
It's like because Triple H loves wrestling.
You may even see it right now. Remember, Vince is no longer majority owner.
Yeah. I mean, no, Triple H loves wrestling.
Yes, of course.
And it's like that was his world. He will turn it to wrestling. I mean, he's already doing it.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
3-year champions, 1-year champions. I mean, he already's doing it.
Yeah, he is. And he's keeping everyone entertained for the year or years that they're champion. You know, like it's been awesome storytelling, you know. But I want to move over to our next topic, and that is our NXT from September the 12th. So Ilya Dragunov beat Wesley to become number one contender to the NXT Championship. Corbin officially challenges Braun Breaker for No Mercy. And Becky Lynch returns to NXT and defeats Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's title. So what will be Becky Lynch's impact at NXT this time around?
Well, I don't know about the impact, but I can say this. Them taking, in one case, the WWE stars taking the NXT belts realistic.
Right.
Which is why you're not supposed to be NXT and be able to even, touch them, much less beat them. But they get their good matches out of it. But it's realistic, which is why I don't like them having their belts. Because NXT should be separate, but at the same time, it's realistic. If you're in the big leagues, the minor leagues are not supposed to beat them.
Right.
They're not supposed to. It's why I always got irritated with the John Cena and a random beating the tag team champions.
Yeah, true.
It's like doubles in tennis. You don't know.
No, you don't.
It's like that. It's a different thing. It's different timing. It's different. Everything is different. Mm-hmm. And it's like if you don't have the chemistry, the doubles guy, they're just gonna beat you to death.
Of course.
And it's like, and that's what it always should be. Demolition should always beat the Mega Powers, but beat them to death, because even though they're good, the team's always together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm saying, you gotta have a. If I was to own a company, I'm not gonna have randos beating that. You know what I'm saying?
True.
We're not gonna have randos beating the tag team champions. It's a different game.
Well, you bring up how the minors aren't supposed to beat the big dogs, right?
Yeah.
But one could argue that over the years, NXT has become just as good, if not better, than SmackDown or Raw. So it does make sense for Lynch to go and win their championship,
Well, that's true, but it was like this isn't. But let me tell you this: the talent over there is not like Sammy and Kevin.
right?
The talent's not on that, and it's plus the fact it's not the same. It's not the same chemistry, the same aura. Black and Gold NXT was an aura.
Right.
It was a bad. It was an old school '70s. I mean, it was so good you could have made it black and white,
That's true.
and it was like this is just colorful. Yee, NXT. We
Yeah.
have all kinds of colors and it's bright. Yee. And, and it's like no, and there's not the same, and it's like, but the thing is, there's not the same. I mean, I'm not saying they're not good. They're good. Tiffany Stratton's good,
Very good.
but she's very good. But again, I have to count what Bully Ray said. Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever it's called himself today. I have to say what he said on the thing. He thinks Tiffany Stratton can be the next Trish Stratus. I'm like, no, and it's like she can be her own self. The reason I say no is because Trish Stratus overcame ungodly, and Bully should know this because he was there. Ungodly misogyny,
Hmm.
ridiculous storylines where she had to strip every week. She had to overcome every ounce of that, ignore it, and then become good.
Wasn't
Tiffany,
there an angle? This is before she even was in the ring. I think it was an angle when Vince made her get on her knees and bark like a dog or something like that.
or she was in the ring a little, but she wasn't that good yet. But it was
Right.
like, but I'm just saying, tell Tiffany Stratton to do that one time she sues you
Probably. Yep.
and wins. Different
Hmm.
world. She'll never have to deal with that.
Nope. She won't.
So no, Tiffany will be her own self. She's gorgeous, yes, but she'll be her own self. She's going to come in being awesome. Where Trish had to work years to get it.
Hmm. That's
It's
true.
no, so no, it's like, but I'm saying I love that they do that. That everybody, but I mean, after that, just keep the big boys away from and the big boys and big girls away from NXT because it's completely obvious that the NXT can't beat them.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm agreed on that one. And you know what? I think what was it, the last title match? Braun Breaker, who actually hung with Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah,
And it's beyond me why he's still on NXT. But I also kind of get it.
right. Well, you need it. Here's the thing: you need a name there. You need the name. You need everything there to work. Braun Breaker looks like something that could be a star.
Yeah, absolutely.
He looks like it. It's just like that's what it is. You don't buy. You got to remember, in the end, NXT is full of brand spanking new all the time.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's like you still have to have a name to sell it. I still remember UFC 24. I still
Hmm.
remember that where they were going to have Pedro Hizzo and Ken Randleman. And Randleman decides to slip on his and knock on his head. And this was in I believe it was in Wisconsin or Iowa or something. He slips
Right.
and bangs his head and is out. All of a sudden, the main event is two guys we don't know, and one of them got knocked out the first match,
Oh wow.
his first ever match. And then you had 8 guys in their first match and 2 guys that had 2 guys on their second. That was their whole card. And I'm
Hmm.
like, it was a great dang card, but it was risky
Very risky.
because especially during a time when UFC is about to die, and John McCain's trying to kill him. And
Hmm.
you got to get all the stars you can and all the bullets, and they had no bullets that game, and they spent most of their show promote the next show.
Yeah.
but it worked. But I'm like, that's what it reminds me of with NXT is the fact that you got to get bullet. And it's like if you get a bunch of newbies, you're not good as it can be. You're not going to sell it.
Yeah. That's true. And and you know what? It's great how you can have like some of the guys from SmackDown or Raw actually go to NXT and help them out essentially, getting involved
Yeah,
in their storylines and everything. It's just for the last, and a lot of fans feel like this too. For the last some odd years, they've seen NXT as an equal.
Well, it has been, but the NXT as an equal needed to be black and gold. I don't get the stupid colors.
Yeah.
I don't get it. There was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with the thing whatsoever. Not a thing wrong with the dark. It was something different. Not everything has to pop. Not everything has to pop with big old colors and big old things. Sometimes because you get these kids, you work your way up to the 8K cameras.
Right.
Work your way up to the 8K cameras. Work your way up to the AI graphics. Work your way up to that. Why does the NXT have to have the same thing? This is the point I'm making. It's like, this is why Shawn Michaels is there, is to help you.
Yeah.
Why do they have to have a brighter and a great production? It's like, why? I like the dark because it means you're starting from somewhere.
It is. And you know, I'll say this and I'm gonna move on. But they said years ago that they were moving away from the indie feel, and that kind of, you know,
That's not an indie feel. That wasn't indie though. That wasn't indie at all. That was that was the old territories look. Yeah. With a studio. I mean, that's not an indie feel.
No, it wasn't, you know. But I mean, we all know by saying that, we know who really it was. That was Vince. You know, that was Vince. And I'll continue to say it to this day. And that is, he purposely tanked NXT to make Triple H look bad. Trust me, no one is happier that Vince is gone than Triple H.
Well, I can say this part. The minute, I mean, I can see it now, and I will be so excited, and I will watch way more in full, and I'll be so happy we see the black and gold back.
Yeah.
See that black and gold back with that, because that dark thing, I want to see it, because, I mean, who knows if it, because he's only 16% of it. It's like, maybe it's a little longer when he passes away, but I want to see it. Right. Because I don't, like I said, NXT is supposed to be, you're supposed to work your way up to the big boys. You're not supposed to be one of them. And you're supposed to get that. It's like, it needs to have a territorial feel.
It does. It does. That right there I can agree on. Okay, so I want to move on to our next topic. And before I place it on the screen, there's a little backstory. So we actually had this as a finisher DQ last week, but I wanted to bring this back because we couldn't really go into detail about it. So I figure I'd make it an actual topic. So on Halloween Havoc of 1998, what a lot of people, and I'm sure you remember this, but what a lot of people don't know is the main event was Goldberg defending the WCW world title against Diamond Dallas Page. Well, what happened was, if you were watching the pay-per-view live, okay, is you saw the introduction, and then you saw Dallas Page's introduction and everything. They get introduced, they get in the ring, the bell sounds, they circle each other, they lock up, they tumble outside of the ring, then the pay-per-view goes off the air. Mm-hmm. And then what ended up actually happening the next night on Monday Nitro is, it was because whenever and this is with this AOL Time Warner, whenever they buy out those slots for those pay-per-views, it's like 3 hours long, like max, right?
Yeah.
And basically they overshot their time limit and they got cut off. Further investigation found that the reason why, and what this ultimately led to, was the next night on Monday Nitro, they had to play during Monday Nitro a replay of the main event from the night before between Goldberg and Dallas Page. And WCW had to fully refund everyone who bought Halloween Havoc. Further investigation found out that the Hogan Warrior match ran too long. That was the reason why they ran out of time. And so now, for this reason and also for others that you may have, the extension from last week, why Hogan versus Warrior Part 2 at WCW Halloween Havoc 98 should have never happened. Take it away.
Well, he looked terrible for one thing. Here's the thing. Warrior in the 80s was jacked, but it was the non-artificial, you know what I'm saying, by itself. Look at him, the 88, 90, when he stands up to Hogan and everything. Hogan's wrists and the hands are this big around, and Warriors are not. So you know who the real big guy is, but they're still both jacked.
Yeah.
You have that. Here comes 92, and all of a sudden he shrunk about 25 pounds, and people think that the real Warrior was dead. They have this. 96, he comes back. He can't even wear. He has to go with the perfect singlet.
Oh yeah.
He has to go with the perfect singlet because he's not even. He's so small by that point. 98, he was no better. And then I remember the Orlando Jordan match where after he ran down to the dang ring.
Yeah.
And it was dumb. The reason it shouldn't have happened was for one thing, remember a lot of what made it too long was Hogan is a master of psychology and play, and he's the heel, and we got to remember he was, oh my God, I'm so worried. So he gets out of the ring, he's playing Memphis.
Yeah.
And he's doing that, and it lasted forever and ever. It's like this wasn't, they looked at each other, but they didn't lock up by about 6 minutes. They didn't have a Pat Patterson to make this, and Hogan was the same, Warrior wasn't. He wasn't the same, and he hadn't had matches. He hadn't had matches in a couple of years. It's a different type. It shouldn't have ever happened. And the biggest thing about it is that is Hogan's ego, and then he wants to win back. He wants to win back. But here's what's funny: it is completely and utterly obvious that there's more respect for Goldberg than Warrior, because he never got the Goldberg one back.
Yeah, true.
He never got the Goldberg one back. No matter if he would have tried everything, he never got it back.
No, he didn't.
No,
and not to mention, it was his idea to drop the belt to Goldberg in the first place.
Yeah. There's obvious. It's, you see, the biggest thing about it was ego. There's no question. This is the thing about wrestling. We know that it's predetermined, fake, whatever you want to get. But the wrong loss can end you. Yeah. It can end you in the eyes. Hogan was completely right to have the ego what he did, because the wrong loss can end you. In WWF at the time, he lost a ton on house shows in DQs let's see, I'm trying to think how they DQs, countouts, lost a ton. He just didn't get pinned, but he lost a ton like that. He didn't mind that. Whatever happened, he looked weak at house shows. He did all that kind of stuff, but he trusted Vince.
Yeah,
he trusted Vince. He just did. And the biggest thing about it, WCW, he got all the money, but who's he to trust? He beat up 8-on-1. He did all that stuff. He had to look the most powerful, because one wrong move for his character ends him. It ends, and you got to remember that whole. People call it, oh, he didn't want to help people. He helped plenty, but that whole thing. In WWF, Hogan and Vader would have been amazing.
Oh yeah.
WCW is pathetic. He sold nothing. But it's the thing. Not only is Hulk Hogan the wrestler, he's also the pitchman. He's a pitchman. He's also the actor. He's also the everything. It's a whole business. One wrong move, one wrong everything, you lose a whole business. And WCW screwed everything up for years. He knew it. He took advantage of it. And Hogan Warrior 2 was just miserable. It was stupid. He wanted his thing back, and it should have never happened.
And you know what? There was heavy rumor that was the sole reason why Eric Bischoff brought Warrior to WCW. And Warrior had said in the interview, if I had known that, I never would have signed with him. It was surprising that Hogan, that it was actually his idea to drop the belt to Goldberg. But also understand that as hot as Goldberg was at the time, Hogan was bigger without the belt than Goldberg with it.
Yep. And the thing was, truthfully, when Hogan went back to yellow and red, he became another one of the boys. Yeah. It's like he became. It was a nice nostalgia pop, but it was toward the end. It was like the black and white. Sting stayed, and he knew it. Sting stayed, and he knew to stay that way. He didn't go back to the. He didn't go back to the woo.
The Surfer Blonde, yeah.
He didn't go back, and it was like he knew it. It's like there's more to do with stuff like that. Going the red and yellow, it was nice nostalgia. You got a huge pop that smacked that thunder, huge.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that's all he could be able to do, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, the Warrior, that was just terrible. The whole thing was terrible. He steals Brutus Beefcake. Looks like he's humping. It was just dumb. It was the whole stupid thing. It was just, I mean, it was just dumb. I mean, and to listen to the Bischoff's podcasts and stuff, he has a lot of good things on there, but just explaining those things, just nothing to it.
Yeah, no, I totally agreed. Well, we're gonna move on to our next topic here, and that is, as of late, AEW's Jade Cargill to visit the WWE Performance Center. So word came out that she's actually kind of wrapping up with AEW, and there's a heavy rumor that she's going to the side of WWE. I will tell you this much: had this been 2 years ago, I would have definitely disapproved of this, because I have seen talent from elsewhere go to Vince McMahon and get ruined. But now that it is a new era, you know, I think that they can do some good with her, you know. So, what would be your thoughts on if Jade Cargill were to join WWE?
Do not put her with another black wrestler. Do not do that. We see these things. We see these things on Twitter. Someone wants to throw it with. Someone wants to throw. They want to throw them with another black wrestler, another black girl. It's like no, knock it off. Don't do the thing. It's like quit this. This is not Doom 1990. Find the two black wrestlers and put them together.
Yeah.
Even though there's more of them, I mean, they showed. I mean, this is the thing. Really, where are we here? Why are we here when you keep thinking that way in 2023? We're going to have something like this next Thursday. Well, we'll explain that later. We're going to have something like this next Thursday on this thing. But we're in 2023. It's like, if you're going to have the match, don't make it automatic just because you have two black wrestlers. Make it because they're awesome.
Right.
Make it because they're awesome. Because that is the immediate thought on social media, to throw them together.
Even though, to be fair, tell me a Cargill with a straight face. Tell me a Cargill Belair match would not tear the roof down.
No, it would, but don't do it right away just because they're two black wrestlers.
No. I agree.
Build it.
Yeah.
Build it. Don't put them together on the thing. Build the dang thing like you would build Rhea and Charlotte. Same thing.
Yeah. Shoot, I would even go as far as saying Cargill versus Flair at WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. Jade Cargill is a star.
Yes.
I mean, Bianca Belair is a star, but that's my point. Build it like you would Charlotte and Bayley. Build it like you would Charlotte and Becky. Just build. Quit. Don't go online to say, I want to see this. No. No. We don't. We don't need the roster of three black wrestlers and go to the two of them and get to that thing immediately because it's automatic. I mean, if we're gonna be the humans now in this world, we gotta stop this garbage.
Yeah.
Build it. I mean, Bianca Belair and let's see, and Jade Cargill would be money.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolute, positive, 1,000% money. You build it slow.
Yes. Now, here's a question. How soon would you want to see her? How about as a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble match in 24?
That would be nice, but can WWE wait that long? You know what you could do? You could do the Undertaker 1990 surprise everyone and make her in a Survivor Series match. Put it in a Survivor Series match, and she's the fifth.
Yeah.
You know, like they did with Undertaker with, you wouldn't have a brother love or anything. I mean, it's going to be a lot different, but you could do it just like that, and she's the fifth, and no one see it coming.
Yeah, that is true. You could also do it that way as well. So, I mean, hey, why not? You know, and that's going to be around the corner here in a little bit. Survivor Series coming up in November. So it's not. It wouldn't be long from now. But also, and you know what? One more question on this one.
Yeah.
Would you want her to come on Raw or SmackDown or go to NXT?
Well, she ain't going to NXT. It's already been said. It's already been said. Just either Raw or SmackDown. It does. But can you do whatever you can build? It's what you have to. I mean, who can you build with and then trade her over? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah. I mean, it by itself, it doesn't matter. She's not going to NXT anyway. They're not, and she doesn't need to. She's a star. This
True.
is an AJ Styles situation.
no, I agree on that one. All
Yeah.
right. So next topic, or next to last one actually. So The Rock actually showed up on NCAA College Game Day and surprised Coach Prime ahead of the CSUC rivalry game. He showed up. He had a Shadur Sanders jersey. It was on this program he actually stated that that Rock Roman Reigns was in the works for WrestleMania 39, but the talks fell through, and how he was open to being in the ring again and everything. He never officially had a farewell match. That's why I'm advocating so hard that he should end his career with Roman Reigns as his final opponent. But getting to the game, and this is like last week, Undertaker had a hype video with the Longhorns and everything. And so Rock says, okay, let's one up you. How about I show up on game day with Coach Prime? And your thoughts about this?
Oh, it was awesome. But it was completely awesome. But let me say something like this. I heard this today. There was goofballs that were trying to, of course, Bears fans on Twitter. I call the goofballs, the Swifties. I call them that. I've said. They were saying that we need to get Shadur Sanders on the Bears. Deion would not allow that. They can't develop a quarterback. Deion's controlling Shadur's career. It. He's going to control it. He's controlling where he goes. There will be a trade. There will be all that. There is no way he's going to Chicago. And and I will tell you this right now, if he somehow goes to Chicago, and this is the truth of it, he somehow goes to Chicago, Deion Sanders is the next coach.
I don't think he's touching the pros.
No, he's not going to. That's my point. But Deion's the next coach if he's going there. It's because he is not letting any of these terrible coaches, this terrible infrastructure, screw his kid up. He's going to watch it. He's going to watch it like a hawk. He's going to get who he trusts, which means if he would go there, he is the next coach of the Bears because he's not going to pull that BS.
Right.
He's not going to deal with that BS, screw his kid up. They've already screwed up 2 straight quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the outrage if they dealt Justin Fields and then they got Shadur Sanders, and it's like, and it's probably going to be more like you in the Bears fan base. Like, okay, so you're going to ruin another talented quarterback?
Oh no, I already know that. I already know if Shadur would be a Chicago Bear, Deion's the new coach.
Mm-hmm.
He is the new coach. Period. End of story. Because he is not going to let that organization screw them up.
Yeah.
He is not going to allow it. The last time the Bears had somebody that didn't have a screwed up organization was Ditka. It's because he just told them to F off all the time.
Right.
And he won enough to get away with it. And it's like, Deion would be that next guy. And I'm not saying he's going. So don't get this with the people that watch this in a few years. I'm not saying Deion's going to the Bears. Don't take that a thing. I'm saying if Shadur's over there, he's there. He's not letting this kid get messed up. But to bring up the deal, this was awesome. And you got to remember, Deion is money. He's numbers. He's everything. He had ratings at 2 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
He had ratings at 2 in the morning for that game, which, guess what? Guess who said it was going to be a better game than the Nebraska game?
Yep. That is true.
I said it.
But to be fair, Nebraska's horrible.
I said that too. I said that too. Nebraska's a terrible team. I said that. But people were laughing and thinking, oh my God, it's going to be no. And it's like, realize that's a rivalry game versus how horrible Nebraska is.
Yep. And it was personal throughout the week too because of what Coach Norville said about Coach Prime. Yeah. And then you get up for your rivals, that's always understandable. You
Well,
know,
this is what fans have to understand. No, not fans. This is what just people have to understand by itself. I'll give you an example. Ryan Poles, the GM of the Bears, showed up at 5 in the morning with like 5 in the morning for his first day on the job at the Bears. Okay, shows up. They do a whole like the hip hop music video. Don't know who it was from. Coming inside in the dark, and everything like that. It looked pretty damn awesome, to be very honest. He looked like he had some swag, everything. It's 5 in the morning, but whatever, you know.
mm-hmm.
Then they show the white guy on, I forget his name, on the Giants, the white GM. They show him coming in. He looks like he just dropped his kids off at school and he had a blue shirt on. They made it look as dorky as humanly possible. Guess who made the playoffs? Guess who made the playoffs? But
yeah.
The biggest thing is when someone like Norville says something. This is my point, though. When someone like Norville says something along the lines of you don't do glasses and the hats and all that kind of stuff anymore while you're talking to people. This ain't that world anymore. This ain't that world. When they showed a GM coming in, like a 39-year-old GM coming in at 5 in the morning with a hip hop video in the background and tried to make the white guy look like a complete dork. And he made the playoffs.
Yeah.
He built a team in 1 year. But it's like that's the way people – I'm just talking about what people they think of. The people online, the people everything. They're always looking at what's flashiest.
Yes.
Always are. Guess what? Joe Burrow gets away – he can get away forever with being bad in a certain couple weeks because he looks like Don Johnson from the 80s.
Yes. I've long said it. He looks like if he didn't play football, he looks like he played a detective, like on a TV show or
Miami Vice. He's chill. He's cool. It's like there was that with Mitchell Trubisky. There was nothing you could do. He dresses as clean as you could get. I sold menswear. He's a great dresser. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't look cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that Q rating. He's a nice guy that smiles, and he's got a kid, and he's a husband and all that stuff. And that doesn't get ratings. It didn't get ratings in '89 with Steamboat.
That's true.
It didn't get ratings. Steamboat got booed for having a kid and a wife, and the wife going that way. His players bringing 9 women down the ring.
Mm-hmm. You also know another reason why Joe Burrow can kind of get away with being bad the first 2 games of the season. First year as a starter, tore his ACL, right? He only lasted 5 games. Second year as a starter, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Third year as a starter, AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if his line holds up for 2 more seconds on that last play, the Bengals have a ring and not the Rams.
Oh, exactly. And but these are the points I'm saying. These are literally the points that I'm saying, though, is it doesn't matter. Where I'm saying is where it doesn't matter white, black, or whatever. There's still more white quarterbacks in the league. We know this. But guess what? Doesn't matter which color somebody is. When you show Joe Burrow and he looks like Miami Vice, you show Anthony Edwards. What am I talking about? No, that's an actor. Anthony Richardson. You show Anthony Richardson coming in with that bow tie and the green suit look.
Yeah.
You show and you show Jameis Winston with who looks like he robbed Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, I mean, you get all this. You got to have a specific look. You can't just come in with a regular suit, You got to have some swag.
Well, okay, so think back to like the 1970s, right?
Yeah.
And why was it that, okay, so you had two different quarterbacks, 2 different looks here, okay?
Yeah.
So now on one end, you got Joe Namath, and he was Broadway Joe. He was the player. He was the playboy, you know?
Yep.
He was probably the Ric Flair of the NFL, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then you got Roger Staubach, the clean-cut captain, comeback. I'm monogamous to one woman. I definitely look like I served in the Navy in Vietnam because I totally did. Like, yeah, he was the clean-cut. He was the clean-cut boy, okay?
Yes.
Like Roger Staubach was Boys to Men. And Joe Namath was Jodeci, okay?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you know what? It's fair to say that there's not one specific look. You know, the look of a quarterback has evolved throughout the years. Because I mean, like, look at Cam Newton, all the suits and his fashion sense. And we know 20, 30 years ago, quarterbacks didn't look like that.
Well, and this is the thing. And when I brought up Trubisky, and I do it just because the Bears' last winning was him. So I bring this up. When I bring him up, he did a play against Detroit with the start of the comeback. They almost pulled him down with a face mask, which would have been a penalty. But he escaped that, got 20 yards and started the comeback. If that is Mahomes, if that is Richardson now, if that is any of that, that is the number one thing for a week on ESPN.
Oh,
It got nothing with him. It's just because I'm just saying I hated it this way, but it's the truth. It's Q rating.
Yeah.
It's Q rating. He doesn't have a Q. Even if he would come back and play and get his thing, it just doesn't like him. It's a Q rating thing. And it's like no matter how he dresses, what it's everything, they just don't like the clean cut, nice guy. It's a Q rating thing.
It's picking and choosing. I don't know if you remember maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but Ryan Fitzpatrick led a comeback victory against the Raiders. And one of the throws he made, it was a face mask. And when I say this dude's head was just about touching his shoulder, and he made the throw blind just about.
Yeah.
It got a few mentions, but had that been Mahomes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's like, how much more Fitzpatrick gets noticed since he dresses the way he does. Some swag, some everything. That's the thing. Everything's a Q rating. And personally, to me, I hope Mitch stays who he is. He's the nice guy. Maybe he'll go to Iowa someday, like move to a place or whatever. Just get nice insurance company or be a coach or something. I hope he does. Good, because don't be who you're not. I hope Tebow keeps staying the same what he is. Don't be whatever you're not. But it's a Q rating. That's what life is. I hate that they hate him. I hate that the whole thing because it's true. Because there's so many lies about the whole situation with the Bears. But Q rating makes a huge difference. And like I said, if you pull Mahomes, if you pull Mahomes' face mask and he escapes and runs 20 yards, that sucker is a and starts a comeback. That sucker is, especially Nick Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Nick Wright, who is waiting to slobber over everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's Q rating. That is what, and guess what? Deion's Q rating. Rock is Q rating.
Absolutely. And well, for our last topic is our weekly finish or DQ. I'll just let you read it and answer it.
Oh. See, the problem with that is that Lawrence Taylor Bam Bam was a good match. It was. Bam Bam did a hell of a job keeping him up, although Lawrence was.
Yeah, Lawrence was clearly gassed.
He was gone. But you're ending the match. Here's the deal. You're ending the show with everybody surrounding the ring and the Taylor's like, all that kind of stuff, Or you end with Michaels with the worst power bomb in the history of life.
Exactly.
And I mean, maybe by paper you do Diesel Michaels. It ended right. It ended correctly. And then here's the deal. You never put Lawrence Taylor ever back into the ring ever again. That was a perfect idea.
And he never got back in the ring neither.
No, that was a great match. And that was perfect to say goodbye.
Yeah, pretty much. It was at the time period when they were trying to integrate, because Kevin Green and Steve McMichael and everything, they're integrating football players into professional wrestling, and I get it, okay, but it never should have closed the show. It never. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been on the card. It absolutely.
Well, no, it could be the last. It could be the second or the last. You know what I'm saying? It was a great match.
Even I would have it mid card.
Yeah, but
even I would have it mid card, but.
But they wanted Lawrence, and they were in trouble. They wanted Lawrence, and it was in Jersey, or it was around Hartford, Connecticut, and it was the WrestleMania was in a mall. It was in a shopping mall. That tells you how much trouble they were in. They needed the name. They needed the name, and that's what they did. Lawrence Taylor's the name, but The biggest thing, though, the biggest thing about it was just the fact that I think that was Sean's way of throwing a fit over that. They weren't the main event.
Yeah, and
I think because that horrible power bomb.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh yeah, But see, I have to just say this: WrestleMania was in a lot of trouble. They were in a lot of trouble. I mean, WWF was. They were taking water coolers out of the dang thing to save money. Like I said, WrestleMania was inside of a shopping mall.
They were in dire straits. As a matter of fact, and I'll say this: we got to end the program. But Lex Luger actually didn't re-sign with them. He actually went back to WCW. Diesel, and Hall. Diesel really wanted to stay with WWF because he felt that WCW tried to ruin him, like the BS gimmicks, and all of them. And so he wanted a guaranteed contract. Like he was like, hey, all you gotta do is just match it and I'll stay. And Vince was like, we in dire straits now, we can't. Luger wanted a guaranteed contract. Vince was like, I can't give you a guaranteed contract because then I got to give everybody else back there a guaranteed contract. Now, I will give props to Vince McMahon for this, and that is along the way, he learned that there's a hierarchy as far as getting paid. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a reason why, Repo Man didn't get paid as much as Hulk Hogan. Okay? Repo Man ain't selling out seats. Hulk Hogan is. You know what I mean? Yeah, and this is where, you go to the Attitude Era. Who was making $1 million? Rock, Austin, Undertaker, Michaels. There's a reason why the Patriot was not getting as much as Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. And you know something? Patriot is a Jim Cornette love. And he was right.
And that's nothing against the Patriot. The Patriot's actually awesome.
No, Patriot was wonderful. He was a Jim Cornette love. Jim Cornette would have made him a champion of Smoky Mountain. You know it.
Yes,
that would have been his babyface star if he would have known where he was. Because he is an old school guy, but just the wrong era.
Pretty much.
It was just wrong era. People didn't believe it.
If Patriot was like 1985, he definitely would have been.
If Patriot was 95 when they were in trouble and they needed that physique. He's like 6'6" and 260. And you want to know what Vince's problem was? He had a South Carolina accent.
Yeah.
Vince, and that stupid thought, he did it to Tony, made him go to dialect class. It's like, leave these guys alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Vince just has this big problem with Southerners. It's like, they can be just as smart, idiot.
I know. And that's coming from a man who's from North Carolina.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and I think he's ashamed of it.
Which is, which I don't know. I don't know, like, with Vince McMahon, because he's from North Carolina, but he doesn't have a Southern accent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's kind of like, okay, you know how, like, George W. Bush is from Connecticut, but he has a Texan accent, obviously, right?
Yes. Well, he works on it. It's like, the difference between George W. Bush and Jeb, I'll tell you what, George embraced his the Texan.
He did.
Jeb, he called himself Jeb. Stupidest thing alive. No one believes that he was in that type of thing. He should have been. If he would have won. To me, he wins the presidency if he calls himself John Ellis Bush, his real name.
Really?
John Ellis Bush is his real name.
Huh.
That's a presidential name, not Jeb.
To be fair, Jeb just screams Dixiecrat, like Southern Democrat, like governor of Mississippi, 1965.
And he doesn't look it.
No, and he doesn't.
No, but I'm saying Jeb, his name is John Ellis Bush. It's like, that is a presidential name.
That's a presidential name, yes.
Yeah, President John Ellis Bush. And you could have gone all three names every time.
Mm-hmm.
The President Bush, John Ellis Bush. John, not even John Bush, John Ellis. You have that as a presidential name. But
yes.
It's like,
even John itself. How many Johns were president?
Yeah.
Like in history?
I know, but it's like, but you have John Ellis Bush. Like, it's like, that's the point. It's like, there are people that just do dumb things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do dumb things, period. But it's like, that is the way to end the show, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And I know Monday Night Raw just came on, but I want to thank those who did tune in to watch this program. We will be back with you next week. So next Tuesday, we will be holding our second commentary.
Yep.
Excuse me. Jacob was so gracious to find a Vader match from Japan. I'll let him go
Mhm.
ahead and introduce
Yep.
that.
And also, I want to promote this. Not this Thursday, next Thursday, a special pundit. It's going to be Denzel and I, and two more. Don't have the names yet. I'm going to surprise you. We are having a one-topic deal. Black quarterback versus white quarterback. Why are we having this discussion in 2023? It's going to go for the whole hour.
Sounds good. Absolutely.
And it's going to be an amazing show. I have no question about it.
Yes, absolutely. And so for myself and Jacob Christner, this is the Sniper and the Pundit Top Rope Talk. See you all in 7 days. Later.
Definitely.